Nate. Hello, I'm Nate. You just watched the finale of Danganronpa 2, and I know what you're saying. You're like, there's 3 bonus games here. Look at all these 3 bonus games. I want Nate to play all 3 bonus games. So we're going to do, in a different order than I said on the last recording session, when I said I'd do Magical Miracle Girl, then the book, then Island Life. We're going to do the book, then Magical Miracle Girl, then Island Life. So let's read the book really quick, because I heard the book is nice and short. That'll be an episode. Magical Miracle Girl will do for 1 episode. And Island Mode I'll do for a couple of episodes, just to kill time before 3 comes out. So I'll try to marry at least Akane, maybe Ibuki or Makan. I know Ibuki's gay and probably won't go for me. But still, I'll still try to marry Ibuki because she's funny. So we'll try to do the novel first on this part, everybody. And thank you so much for making this series pretty good. Yeah, I had good feedback. There you go. Danganronpa IF. Ooh, character introductions? Okay, so Makoto. He's a typical high school student with absolutely no remarkable talents or characteristics. He was randomly selected to attend Hope's Peak Academy from a pool of other unremarkable students. Kiyotaka. I guess it's everybody from the first game, so that's fine. He was the head of the Public Morale Committee at his previous high school and Noda College Prep School. He's extremely strict towards lazy people and anyone who makes fun of working hard. Byaku Shmaku, a member of a family which controls the Tsukami Corporation, an international mega conglomerate. As the heir to the family business, he was harshly raised to prepare for his duties. Mondo, he's wearing a different outfit. At one point, he was the biggest biker gang. He was the leader of the biggest biker gang in Japan. He's a classic rebel with a heart of gold, and he has his own strong sense of justice. He also has an undying admiration for his older brother. Leon, despite his refusal of practice, he has enough natural talent that pro baseball scouts have already started courting him. Even though he's kind of obnoxious, it's hard to hate him. Hifumi. He has a certain charisma with the fanfiction industry and is very proud of the following that he has cultivated. At a local school festival, he sold over 10,000 copies of his latest creation, a stunning achievement by any measure. Stoner Joe. He relies on his own intuition to form his predictions, resulting in an accuracy rate of about 30%, but he's been held back a few times. Sayaka. She's the lead singer in a world-famous pop group, though she's the darling of a generation. She's managed to maintain her sweet, down-to-earth nature. Kyoko. She's the only student in the school whose ultimate talent is unknown. She carries around an intense beauty, but her past and thoughts are shrouded in mystery. Hina. Oh my god, look at that Hina picture, everybody. Look at that Jenny bump. That is appropriate. She's a natural-born athlete. Her main focus is swimming, but at her old school, she also completed in volleyball and track and more. She has a smiling, enthusiastic nature that helps keep the others in high spirits. And you know what else keeps others in high spirits? The Jenny bump and the boo-hoo-doos, and the Jimmy Neutron hair, and the donuts. She's the best of all worlds. Taco. Despite her age, she's already a successful novelist. In actuality, she has a personality disorder that manifests itself into a serial killer personality known as Genocide Jack. Sakura has a huge thigh. Her father taught her martial arts since she was a little girl, and now she's become the strongest human being on Earth. Celestia Ludenberg, god damn it. Her petite Lolita appearance belies a haughty temperament and a sharp caustic tongue. She's a master of deceit and her face is utterly inscrutable. She is Japanese, in case you were wondering. My wife. She's a charismatic model who's graced the covers of the most popular youth fashion magazines. However, her true identity is... Chihiro, the ultimate programmer. She's very quiet, but has an extreme talent when it comes to computers. And she's actually a dude. And Mukuro, a combat specialist who mastered handling various weapons ever since she was a child. She has a special interest in mystery stories and is completely engrossed by mystery stories. Okay, let's just look at Hina's crotch again. Okay, I got that out of my system. So, let's go from the beginning. Let's read this book. If Monokuma Theater. Monokuma Monologue. The world is full of ifs. If Adam hadn't tied the knot with Eve, society as we know it would not have been born. The world that everyone lives in is just one outcome among countless ifs and will continue to be a muddled world overflowing with infinite ifs. Ifs is what miso's in miso soup, you know. Bleh. And yes, I'm still fucking sick. Got all that coughing out of my system. What lies beyond this point is a scary world filled with an iffy stepfathers who abandon their families. A Klein bottle where inside the outsides are filled with uncertainty. But don't break it, okay? It'd be so expensive. There's no way you'd ever be able to pay me back. But no matter how you look at it, ifs are simply worlds like any other. No matter how hypothetical the story may be, the future is the only thing that's truly foggy. And the past is more solid than a frozen banana. You can't change a conclusion that's already happened. Even if you see a world that may have existed, it wouldn't affect the people living in reality. Because ifs are only ifs, after all. Even if a parallel world exists within a particular if actually happened, humans cannot cross the boundaries between worlds that easily. No matter how far ifs go, it will always be a what-if scenario. If you really want to see that, you've got some sick interests. Don't you think that's an insult to Makoto and the others' tragedy that they overcame? Though, as far as I'm concerned, I'll still insult them. If you're gonna look at if, you better think, or I think it's better if you see the outside of the Klein bottle first. It might be better if you view the ending of the video game called Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc. I already saw it. Try to play it multiple times and spend your free time with Junko at least 3 times too. It may be ideal if you collect all 3 items and movies too. But if you guys have come this far, I'm sure you've already done that. Still, I'd buy the game if I were you. I'd actually buy at least 2 copies if I were you. That's actually kind of funny because I did. The curtain lowers. I have one on my Vita and one on my PS4, so that fucking counts. Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc, IF, the Button of Hope, and the Tragic Warriors of Despair. What should I do with this? Makoto Naegi was at a loss. Despite his hesitation, his situation was extremely simple and composed by 3 key factors. First factor was that Makoto was currently locked inside a school. Hope's Academy is a school for privileged elite, and each student attending possesses an ultimate talent. Makoto was chosen to attend Hope's Peak by a lottery held to select the ultimate lucky student. When he arrived for his first day at school, he immediately lost consciousness, and when he woke up, he saw that all exits and windows had been sealed shut. The next factor was Monokuma, a mysterious robot bear being operated by the mastermind, and the announcement he made to the students. "You'll be living your whole life in this academy, bitch," he declared. "If you want to leave, then kill someone, and become blackened." This strange remote-controlled robot was telling Makoto and his fellow Ultimates to start killing each other in exchange for their freedom. They learned that more than one Monokuma exists, and that each one contains a bomb to prevent anyone from attacking them. On top of that, Monokuma announced that if anyone attempted to harm him, they would receive punishment. The third and final factor is the red button Makoto was currently holding in his hand. The words escape button were crudely written on this button with marker. And though the first 2 factors were certainly the cause for panic, Makoto only seemed at a loss over the third. During his free time, Makoto noticed that the school store was open, and his curiosity got the better of him. He was overwhelmed by the disjointed atmosphere upon entering, but his attention soon focused on a strange vending machine. The words "Mana Mana Machine" were written on it, and it seemed to accept strange bear-patterned coins they sometimes find inside the school. It seemed like a bad idea, but Makoto thought there would be a chance this machine could dispense some way of escaping from the school, and so he inserted 1 coin into the coin slot. And the result was an escape button, the escape button he mentioned earlier. Bleh. There's a limit to how much you can tease us. Maybe the mastermind of Trappist in here is making a cruel joke. Bleh. These thoughts filled Makoto's mind as he began to feel deeply discouraged. However, there's always a chance, right? Makoto was just an ordinary boy. In an ordinary world, he only gained entry to Hope's Academy through a lottery to find he was the ultimate lucky student. Maybe that luck was the real deal. If this button is real, maybe I can let say Yaku Yaku Yaku. Makoto took a deep, slow breath and pressed the button. Instantly, pain burst through his entire body. Makoto's arms and legs went limp as he lost balance and fell into the floor in a crumpled heap. As he breathed heavily, it dawned on him what just happened. I got electrocuted? He looked down at the button in his hand and he noticed a small needle sticking out of it. Makoto quickly surmised that an electrical current must have been running through it. After regaining enough of his strength to stand back up, Makoto thought about it once again. I should have known it was fake. Just how sick and twisted is this mastermind? My head still feels a little woozy. I should go back to my room and rest for the day. With that in his mind, Makoto walked out of the school store with slow and careful steps. But Makoto didn't know yet. If the escape button really was a fake, it would have brought an act of the mercy from the mastermind. A small bear-shaped shadow began moving around the inside of the now empty school store. The shadow, Monokuma, stood before the Mana Mana machine and stared at it silently. But after some time had passed, he began to laugh, a cold, hollow laugh, and utterly devoid of emotion. Despite the fact that he was alone, Monokuma began to talk, almost as if he was speaking to someone. Perhaps Monokuma was talking directly to the mastermind controlling him. I only put that in the Mana Mana machine because I thought it'd be interesting if if one of the last few survivors happened to win it. But with a success rate of 0.000000001%, I never thought anyone would actually win it. Perhaps I should have expected the ultimate lucky student to overcome such impossible odds. Monokuma started blushing and breathing heavily for no apparent reason. A robot like Monokuma doesn't need to breathe, but because of his technology is super advanced, he can express himself like a living creature. Makoto was chosen through a lottery, and now he's won the escape button through a lottery. It's obviously impossible, right? Is this a miracle? Is this what a miracle is? Is this all systems go towards escaping? Is something like that defies the common sense about to come crashing into my world? Huff, puff. Oh, well, I don't even really want this at all. I'm starting to enjoy this new sensation. Well, back after these commercials, Monokuma's internal machinery began running at full capacity, and his facial expressions began changing more smoothly than any humans could. Suddenly, his expressions immediately stopped, and he whispered through his speakers, "But this is really good luck. Oh ho ho ho!" After muttering something so ominous, Monokuma loud, screeching laughter rang jarringly through the room. The situation that was about to unfold contained two conflicting emotions in equal measure: hope and despair. Okay. The next day, nighttime, student dormitory, Makoto's room. Makoto Naegi lay on his bed, desperately struggling with the despair and hope churning within him. I'm only going to read this book for like 30 minutes, maybe. So if you guys want me to read more, please leave a comment, and I'll do more bonus episodes of more of this. And I'll reorganize them so that you guys can see we're reading this book, and it'll be fun. Yeah. Monokuma had forced the students to watch a DVD early that day. It was Joe Dirt 2. I made that joke when I played the first one. Makoto showed a scene that suggested his parents and little sister were in danger, and now he found himself determined to leave the school. It seems like the other students were forced to watch shocking videos of their own. Videos so shocking that they were now determined to escape the school too, even if it meant sacrificing someone to do it. However, it was obvious that these videos were part of Monokuma's trap. As long as the student killed someone, they were allowed to graduate and leave the academy. It seemed like the mastermind controlling Monokuma was hell-bent on making students kill each other. But right now, Makoto was more worried about Sayaka Maizono, who seemed to be incredibly distressed after watching her DVD. Sayaka wasn't just the ultimate pop sensation, she was also Makoto's classmate when they were students in Blackroot Junior High. Her optimism has been encouraging Makoto these past few days, and he was becoming a similar source of strength for her as well. If nothing else, I have to at least save Sayaka. As soon as Makoto thought that, he suddenly felt a small headache. Was he still real? There's no game audio. Was he still reeling from being punched by Mondo the other day? Or was that a side effect of being electrocuted by the escape button? As Makoto pondered these things, the pain slowly subsided and he returned to his determined thoughts of escape. Anyway, we all need to work together and At the moment, Makoto realized that his goal had changed slightly. We all need to. Ideally, it would be best if everyone survived together. However, aside from Sayaka, Makoto never met the other students before. He didn't know that he can even be trusted in the first place. Even though Hina's got thighs of doom, so I could probably trust her. But at the moment, he trusted them without even once an ounce of suspicion. Blah, he believed that they were worth helping, even at the cost of his own life. Just like Sayaka. Why? The headache struck again. As if all the blood vessels in his brain were being individually sliced open. Why did I just think that I could trust the others as much as I trust Sayaka? Makoto tried to figure out why his thought process had changed, or had suddenly changed. Whoa. Sorry. Something was wrong. The throbbing pain in his head seemed to be synchronized with the strange feeling that something was approaching him. As rays of light began forming in the dark recesses of his own mind, the doorbell rang. Someone's here. He quickly got out of bed, but it only made his headache worse. With no concern for his safety, Makoto carelessly opened the door to his room and came face to face with Sayaka! I'm really sorry, to come by so late. Sayaka! The pain. What are you doing out so late? The moment I saw her face, the pulsating pain in Makoto's head began accelerating. He felt like his world was being torn apart from the inside out. Sorry to bother you, but something really weird just happened. Makoto, what's wrong? You don't look so well. Sayaka was pale, and he had been trembling when she came into Makoto's room, but she seemed surprised to see his complexion was worse than her own. Yeah, I'm fine. It's just my head. Makoto couldn't finish his sentence. His eyes rolled back into his head, and he lost consciousness and slowly fell to the floor. Like your face, dingy ding dingy ding, it's forced, dingy ding dingy ding to the floor. And Sayaka's beautiful voice let out a scream as she stood over Makoto's body. Ugh. The next day at the nurse's office. It's a retelling of Danganronpa 1, which is fine. Oh, you're awake. Hey, you okay? How many fingers am I holding up? Hey, you're just flipping me off. Did you just flip me off, young man? As Makoto regained consciousness, he was greeted by the sight of fingers adorned by long, fake nails being waved in his face. Huh? You're Junko, right? Hey, why do you sound so unsure? I'm a little shocked to hear you say that. Despite what she said, Junko Onishima, the ultimate fashionista, was laughing, as if she found this all very amusing. Makoto looked around and he realized he'd never seen this place before. It looked somewhat like a hospital. 3 beds, including his own, were lined up in the room with various medical instruments laid around them. The black ceiling felt strangely oppressive, but as he sat up, Makoto's mind immediately centered on one possibility. Who are we? Did we get rescued? That'd be nice, huh? She replied as she looked away. Junko explained that this was the nurse's office on the first floor of the academy. That Monokuma thing said, I can't bear to see my precious students getting sick, and opened this place up in the morning. But don't you think that's suspicious? What if all these meds are poison? To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised. Makoto remembered his encounter with the escape button and let out a small sigh. Ah, so why am I here, Junko? You should thank Sayaka for that. She was here the whole night taking care of you and stroking your wiener. She was. Junko ignored Makoto's surprise and continued casually talking. But then Taka got all fired up and was like, we should take turns watching over him. I just happened to be on duty when you woke up. Well, and even then, only because Yaku ditched. I see, thanks. Like I said, you should thank Sayaka. Anyway, how are you feeling? Is everything alright? Makoto thought for a moment and remembered what he'd been thinking just before he lost consciousness. He was thinking about boobs. Then this is kind of weird, huh? Actually, it's really a weird question, but what's up? Junko, we've never met each other before, right? Upon hearing this, Junko's eyes widened, but a few seconds later, she began to laugh. Huh? Are you for real? That pickup line is, like, totally played out, you know? Even though she was grinning, a serious look came over her face. Just so you know, you shouldn't expect anything like that from me. I know, I look this way, but I take my virtue pretty seriously. No, I mean, I never expected... Well, that's what I figured. It's obvious that you're a total Omega male anyway. Makoto and Junko continued to talk to one another. Although he wondered why Junko was talking to him instead of leaving to get the others, Makoto didn't question it. He just wanted to talk to someone. Anyone! As long as he interacted with his fellow students, he believed that he would learn the truth about what was going on inside of his head. 10 minutes later, Junko mostly talked about the alpha males and omega males, her time being homeless, and about her past and her dreams for the future. The last topic was a lot heavier than my nose, than the previous ones, but Makoto's calm demeanor seemed to cheer her up. She smiled sincerely and said softly, "Thanks, Makoto." Maybe it was a sign of gratitude for listening to her troubles, but she kept the same smile as she blurted out something horrifying. In return, I promise that if I do decide to kill someone, it won't be you. Don't say scary stuff like that. At least that's what Makoto thought, but the words that came out of his mouth expressed a different sentiment. I see, thanks. But I wouldn't want you to become the blockhead in the first place. For some reason, Makoto felt like murderous words that came out of Junko's mouth seemed like a natural thing for her to say. She seemed very surprised at Makoto's response, and quickly blurted out, "Huh? Are you serious? I was just kidding." "Huh? Oh yeah, of course. Sorry for acting so weird." "No worries. Let's just chalk this up to you being a woozy from your recovery." She returned to her usually bubbly self, let out a big stretch, and turned to Makoto. "I'm gonna get going now. Make sure you don't get killed before the next person arrives." After seeing her off, Makoto laid back down on the bed and started thinking to himself, "What is this strange feeling?" His dull headache continued as his thoughts began to blur. I was just talking to Junko, but it felt like I was talking to someone else. Who was she? The more he thought, the more he felt like his memories were sinking into a thick swamp. Each throb of pain pulsing through his head was like a wave on the surface of that swamp. What is this feeling? I felt very unpleasant, as if someone's voice was screaming at him from inside his head. Makoto tried to organize his thoughts and go over everything that had happened to him. But he was interrupted by the sound of a bell. Unlike the doorbell, the nurse's office didn't have a doorbell. The bell sounded like Makoto's head was ringing throughout the entire building. Ahem! Ahem! Testing, testing, mic check 1, 2. This is a test of the school broadcast system. Oh my god. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just getting over this cold. But if I talk enough, then my lungs fill up with mucus, and then I'm like, you know? You guys know what it is. It was Monokuma's voice. Now that Makoto has finally woken up, please assemble at the gym, or Makoto, whatever. Makoto listened to Monokuma's heartless orders and got out of bed without complaining. I have to go. He walked one step at a time in accordance with the rhythm of his throbbing headache. Slowly, slowly, he walked forward, not knowing if where he was headed was heaven or hell. Blech. To the gym. Oh man, my nose. Makoto, are you alright? We're almost like halfway through chapter 1 reading this, so I might actually do a few episodes of this and see how good it goes, guys. If you like it, please let me know. Makoto, are you alright? Sayaka ran to Makoto as soon as he entered the gym. Yeah, thanks. I'm sorry about yesterday. I guess I really worried you. Please don't apologize. I'm sorry too. I barged into your room when you weren't feeling well. Now that you mentioned it, said Makoto. What happened yesterday? Sayaka looked away for a brief moment, but immediately turned back, smiled her pop sensation smile, and shook her head. It's nothing. I'll tell you some other time. Huh? While you were talking, Kiyotaka Ishimaru, the ultimate moral compass... Or while they were talking, Kiyotaka, the Ishimaru, the ultimate moral compass, stepped forward and pointing an accusatory finger at Makoto. You're late, Makoto! Explain why you were tardy! The other students collectively raised their eyebrows as if they were thinking, why is this guy yelling at someone who was sick? However, Makoto just smiled and gently answered him honestly. I didn't feel so well, so I was resting in the nurse's office. Can you note that in the daily logbook? I see. That's consent with my information. If that's the case, I shall consider the matter settled. The conversation progressed smoothly, and Taka smiled as he kept talking. Fuck. I take full responsibility for recording it. You just focus on recovering. If you ever feel ill, please report it to the health committee. I guess Taka's voice affects my lungs. It seems like we need to head to the health committee members after this meeting, though. Taka walked away, mumbling to himself as he opened the daily logbook and found it in the Academy's supply room. Celestia Ludenberg, the ultimate gambler, saw the whole conversation and walked up to Makoto. Despite his unreasonable behavior, you know exactly what to say to him. Huh? As soon as Celeste said that, it dawned on Makoto. It's true that he didn't feel well and that he'd been resting in the nurse's office, but when Taka asked him why he was late, even though he should have already known the reason, Makoto didn't feel annoyed or disappointed at all. It was as if he expected Taka to say that. Makoto felt strange that he accepted Taka's personality so quickly. He couldn't understand why he asked Taka to do something as unnecessary as recording it in the daily logbook in the first place. Why did I say that? It's like I was used to it. His response to Taka's demands came naturally to him as breathing. Why? Every time he tried to think about it, his headache grew worse. As Makoto struggled to think through the pain of his headache, he fell over. A black and white stuffed animal jumped from behind the gym's podium and began twirling around as it spoke in a cheerful voice. Hey guys, is everyone here? He sounded like he was about to lead the students on a field trip, but not a single one of them had a smile on their faces. What is it this time? Are we going to hijack a cruise ship and run into a gigantic worm? Of course. There was one exception. Yasuhiro Hakaguri, the ultimate clairvoyant, still believed that their current situation was some kind of planned event. Monokuma just ignored him and continued to address the students with his adorable voice. Today I'm going to tell you about our wonderful academy system. System sure sounds like a great word, don't you think? It reeks of danger, just like a bear. If you want to trample all over the deaths of your friends and grow up, you have to have hardened hearts. It's good to be a little naughty. I want you all to grow poisonous personalities. After making his nonsensical introduction, Monokuma moved on to the next topic. With this, he began providing the detailed explanation of the most vile system in the school, the class trial. Now, you can't just kill someone, you gotta kill someone without anyone else finding out you did it. Monokuma talked about the horrible graduation program with casual indifference. Fuck. But because the killing didn't happen yet, his lecture didn't instill any despair in the students. As long as the killing never occurred, there'd be no point to the class trial. But no one could really say that the killing wasn't going to happen. As the students' suspicion began to rise, Monokuma continued his explanation of the class trial until... Well, wait, hold on a second. As Monokuma began explaining the executions that would serve as punishment, one girl stepped forward, Junko. As soon as he saw how angry she was, the rhythm of Makoto's headache began to change slightly. You're freaking insane, you know that? The girl continued to complain angrily. She seemed completely different from the smiling person Makoto saw in the nurse's office. Huh? Was Junko always like that? No, she's different. That's how Junko acts, but is that person really Junko? Huh? What am I thinking? As Makoto struggled with his headache and confusion, Monokuma and the girl continued to argue. What are you saying? You're not going to participate in the class trial? Only punishments awaits blasphemy. What punishment? I might, throw you into a deep, dark, scary prison or something. Different. The strange feeling he felt was now directed at Monokuma. A prison? No, that they aren't that kind. A series of images flashed in Makoto's mind, and at first he thought it was some kind of parade. Then he quickly realized it was a mistake. What looked like lights was actually buildings engulfed in flames. The red decorating the scene seemed to have come from human bodies. Despair. It wasn't confined to the Academy or even Japan. Images of worldwide death destruction flood through Makoto's brain with every throb of his headache. I've seen this before. Besides the indescribable violence taking place in all these images, there was one thing they had in common. Who are they? They're rampaging terrorists wearing black and white masks and wreaking havoc in all these images. They took everything: money, valuables, lives, families, dignities, the past, the future, and possibly even hope. The masks these terrorists were wearing perfectly resembled the face of the stuffed animal arguing with the student before him. Shut the hell up. Say whatever you want. I'm not going to be part of this. Don't be so selfish. You're the one being selfish. Kill whoever you want. It's got nothing to do with me. The evil standing there before me. I'm trembling with fear, but I won't give in to such evil. It's my style to stick out and resist till the very end. If you really want to get me out of here, you'll have to go through me first. Monokuma swung his arms wildly as he charged at the girl with waddling steps, while the girl stomped on the self-proclaimed headmaster of the academy with ease. Come here. Are you enjoying yourself now? Pinned beneath the girl's foot, Monokuma looked up to the girl's cold eyes and calmly asked, Are you? Huh? Violence against Headmaster Monokuma is not allowed. You violated a school regulation! Awooga! At that moment, a chill ran down Makoto's spine. She's gonna get killed. Monokuma's words sounded threatening to him. It wasn't a prediction or a guess. It was as if he knew the danger Monokuma possessed from the start. If this continues, Junko's going to... His mind still didn't fully grasp the situation unfolding in front of him. By the time he realized he was about to remember something, he was already running forward. Junko. The impact of his feet combined with the rhythm of his headache, sending his brain and his heart into panic. No, she's different. She's... I invoke the mighty summon spell. Help! To me, godly spirit Gunyear! Monokuma wiggled beneath the girl's foot and let out a scream. At that exact moment, Makoto charged at her and screamed out, Mukuro, watch out! Huh? The girl dressed as Junko Enoshima widened her eyes in shock. As if to evade the charging Makoto, she jumped back with agility unheard of a teenage high school girl. And then, right at that moment, countless spears pierced the spot where she had been standing just a split second ago. Makoto's gonna die, isn't he? All the students, including the girl, stared wide-eyed, all of a sudden, turn of events. Spears, too many of them to count, had shot out of the blinding speed from mechanisms installed in the floor and walls of the gym. However, Makoto was unable to notice this. Huh? Why did I call Junko Mukuro? Mukuro? As if the thought entered his mind, a sharp sudden impact struck his side, followed by the intense deathly pain that ran down his spine and spread through his entire body. The spear stabbed into his side and instantly tore his flesh to shreds and shot out of his back, coated in blood and other bodily fluids. At that moment, the black fog had engulfed Makoto's mind was consumed by death itself, and his consciousness slowly faded. He remembered everything. Because of the electric jolt and the chemical compound from the escape button, because of that button he had found by chance, Makoto Naegi managed to escape. He escaped the hopeless game where he and his fellow students had their memories stolen and were forced to kill each other. Of course, that escape is also what led him to his current life or death predicament. In the end, perhaps he only escaped from one despair and to fall into another. But at the same time, his actions had unintended consequences for one person. The girl, living a false identity as her beloved little sister Junko Enoshima, Mukuro Ikusaba, the ultimate soldier and the member of the ultimate despair. Her past or future, perhaps her hope itself, are the only path, or on a path to despair. What? End. And so the curtain falls on Makoto's story. For now, from this point, the story is about a certain girl, a girl who's more pitiful than anyone else in this sealed-off academy. A new curtain, along with new despair, shall now rise. Wow. Huh? Time has certainly stopped for Mukuro Ikusaba. It was as if everything around her had frozen perfectly still. In the past, she was known as the Ultimate Soldier. She had experienced this feeling before, during her time with the mercenary group Fenrir. In situations where she was surrounded by hopeless numbers of enemies within a jungle or in a desert ruin, the charging enemies seemed like they were frozen in time, which allowed her to claim decisive victory in all of her battles. But this wasn't a battlefield. Why did this familiar sensation activate once again? In order to understand what happened, Mukuro slowly tried to assess the current situation from within the frozen world. Junko and Mukuro are both children of despair, but Junko, the true ultimate despair, harbors a far deeper darkness within her. Though their last names are different, Mukuro is Junko's older sister connected by the bonds of blood. She cooperated with Junko's hopeless plan and impersonated her under the pretenses of participating in the killing game alongside her classmates. According to this plan, Mukuro was supposed to oppose Monokuma, who her sister was controlling, and be locked in a dungeon as punishment. Isolated from the others, she would escape the dungeon and perform various acts intended to deprive the students of hope. That was the role that she had been assigned. When Makoto succumbed to his headache, Junko offered her to see if shock had caused him to remember anything that could make him a liability. He woke up as if tending to him, so she made small talk with him, but she didn't notice a change in his behavior. Until this point, she was certain that there shouldn't be any problems. Nothing could possibly go wrong. She stomped on Monokuma like her sister ordered her to do and flawlessly spoke the lines she was taught to memorize. Afterward, she would fall through a trapdoor in the dungeon and remain isolated from the other students. That was her role. She hadn't done anything wrong. There was no problem. There was no problems. She repeated that to herself over and over like a silent prayer, but in that frozen moment in time, what she saw was not a trapdoor, but countless spears. One of them had skewered Makoto through his side. Why? Makoto? Why are there spears? Gunyear? I would have died if I hadn't moved. Did Junko mess up the plan? No, Junko would never mess up. Was she trying to kill me? Me? Makoto saved me. Why? Why did he say my name? Say my name. What's my name? Did his memories come back? Did I not realize that? Did I make a mistake? Is this why Junko got angry? Is this punishment? Is this my fault? Junko tried to kill me. Kill me? Kill me. Kill kill me. Slowly, time came back to her world. Mukuro could feel her face turning pale as she slowly looked towards Makoto. The students screamed throughout the gym. Sayaka was probably the first one to scream, but who screamed first didn't matter to Mukuro. Makoto! Why? Makoto was the ultimate lucky student. He had been her classmate for the past 2 years, and now he was the sacrifice to despair. Not long ago, he had given her the answer of sorts during their conversation at the nurse's office. He was just a pawn in the plan her sister had devised. I can't talk still. But now I'm feeling of doubt that began forming in Mukuro's mind. Meh. Oh wait, that's I. What did I want from Makoto? As her heart churned restlessly, she continued to think. In return, I promise that if I do decide to kill someone, it won't be you. Was I impersonating Junko then? Or did I really mean that? When did I start feeling this doubt? Just now, the moment he saved me? Or when we spoke in the nurse's office earlier? Or when I first confronted him about the killing game before his memories returned? Or was it before that? Mukuro stood there, confused and overwhelmed as Makoto slowly opened his eyes, the spear still impaling him through the side. Mukuro. Makoto, are you okay? Mukuro was no longer impersonating the ultimate fashionista. Looking up from the floor of the gym, Makoto asked, Why are you dressed up like Junko? He was smiling. Maybe he couldn't feel the pain anymore, or maybe he was being affected by something else. But regardless, Makoto ignored the fact he was dying just to give Mukuro a warm smile. I'm glad you're safe, Mukuro. As soon as she heard Makoto's weak, fading voice, something inside Mukuro snapped. From within the shell of despair she had built up, an intense emotion began flowing out. No, this is wrong. She couldn't hold back her emotion any longer. No. And for the first time in her entire life, Mukuro unleashed a scream onto the world. Oh my god. As Mukuro fell to her knees and clutched her head, a small shadow started walking towards her back. The stuffed animal that had been under her foot, Monokuma. His claws were extended, and he was no longer walking his usual waddle. Instead, he moved like a beast, silently stalking his prey, as he slowly advanced within her target's blind spot. As he inched closer to Mukuro, Monokuma raised his razor-sharp claws, crouched on his haunches, and suddenly leapt towards the back of her head. However, just before those claws could reach the paralyzed Mukuro, a dark shadow moved from the side and swatted those claws away with one blow. His lunge deflected. Monokuma was sent flying through the air, spinning wildly before crashing into the wall. Damn you! What are you trying to do? I knew it was Sakura. Sakura Ogami, the ultimate martial artist, had just prevented another tragedy. She stood before Monokuma and addressed him in a loud, booming voice. Not only did you attempt to kill Junko for violating the school regulations, you even attacked Makoto, who had nothing to do with this. If you plan to continue acting in such a strange manner, there's no reason for us to play along with your game. But Yaku Shimaku Tagami, the ultimate Evelyn prodigy, smirked condescendingly at Sakura. Fool. One could say you've now violated the school regulations with your senseless actions. He looked as if he honestly did not care if his fellow students lived or died at all. She merely deflected the headmaster's attack just now, so I did not think that truly counts as an act of violence. Like Byaku Shimaku, Celeste seemed unfazed as she chided him over his words. However, the banter between the two was enough to stir the stunned conversation to action. Makoto! Sayaka was the first one to run towards Makoto, who lay bleeding from his stomach, but Monokuma stopped her, shouting in a tone of voice that seemed completely out of character. Be careful! Don't get too close to those two! Huh? Startled by Monokuma's desperate tone, Sayaka and the other stopped, moving almost instinctively. The students looked around at each other. Instead of his usual playful gait, Monokuma walked towards them with deliberate, methodical steps. And then he suddenly blurted out something that took everyone, including Mukuro, by surprise. Crap. Oh man, I'm sleepy. This should be getting me on my toes, but it's not. I'm sure you're probably confused all of a sudden by the sudden turn of events, but I want you guys to work together. Meh. As Mukuro slowly turned toward the Monokuma, he pointed at her and yelled, Mukuro Ikusaba and her accomplice, Makoto Naegi, are the terrorists responsible for locking you all inside the academy. Once again, time stopped for Mukuro. This time she wasn't the only one affected. Everyone seemed to be frozen in shock. After a few seconds of silence, Aoi Asahina, the ultimate swimming pro, spoke first. Hooray! Huh? You're kidding, right? I mean, Makoto is a terrorist? That's impossible. And who's Mukuro, anyway? I mean, that's Junko. Monokuma began slowly explaining it to Aoi. The real Junko must be imprisoned somewhere in this school. Worst case scenario, she might be killed. Mukuro must have researched which one of you would be easiest for her to impersonate and hit among you all by pretending to be her. She was probably trying to make sure the killing game went smoothly. Suddenly, Monokuma's hands and feet began jerking in awkward motions as he looked at the other students and introduced himself. I'm Baseki Madarai, the ultimate hacker. I'm your upperclassman. I hacked into the academy from the outside, and I was finally able to control Monokuma's body just a little while ago. Take control from who? From the head of the terrorist organization that's controlling this robot from the outside? What? What are you saying, Junko? Mukuro trembled as she heard the words coming out of Monokuma's mouth. For a brief moment, she clung to the hope that her sister wasn't trying to kill her. But as soon as that hope was born, it immediately was consumed by despair. Junko had the power to transform hope into despair. She would never let anyone hack her that easily. There's only one explanation. Junko Enoshima was pretending to be someone named Baseki in order to frame Mukuro and Makoto. It was though Junko was using Mukuro's survival as a branching path to lead the students into a different path of despair. Monokuma continued talking and telling the students more lies designed to prod them into action. On your first day at Hope Peak, you guys were exposed to sleeping gas, knocked unconscious, and taken hostage. Mukuro and Makoto are probably the only operatives that the terrorists sent inside the school. That means they'll probably know how to escape from here. And then Monokuma turned to face Mukuro. Mukuro Ikusaba was a member of the mercenary group called Fenrir. She wanted a criminal who's killed over 10 people associated with the school. Okay, I'm only going to try to do one cough to clear my throat because you guys know I get sick super easily. No, I don't. So don't get soft and think you can capture her alive. In fact, that's exactly what the cops told me. So the moment I saw an opening, I tried hacking the trap they set and tried to kill her. But what about Makoto? Monokuma gave a cold, emotionless answer to Sayaka's question. My guess is that he's measly little ultimate student that doesn't stand a chance against a group like Fenrir. He was probably threatened and forced to cooperate before he entered the school, or judging from his earlier actions, maybe Mukuro seduced him. Sayaka's face went pale when she heard that answer, and she immediately stopped talking. Aww. Mukuro raised her head and shouted, "You're wrong! Makoto isn't a terrorist. You all have to believe me." The whole gym fell silent, and then, as if he was speaking for everyone there, Taka stepped forward and nervously asked, "Hold on! What do you mean Makoto isn't a terrorist?" "Sounds like you're saying that there's no doubt that you in fact are a terrorist." Jesus, I hate Taka's voice. I ask you to correct yourself at once and say we are not terrorists. Celeste began expressing her own doubts as well. It is strange. Does it not seem odd that she is so protective of someone who we just met a few days ago? Meh. Mukuro stood in silence. The other students' faces began filling with suspicion and doubt as they realized they weren't looking at the real Junko Enoshima. But Yaku pushed up his glass. Is that a typo? Pushed up his glass and began pointing out what seemed to be out of place to him. That's a typo, though. That bugs me. I heard that fool Makoto, or whatever his name is, call you Mukuro instead of Junko. How would Makoto know what your name is really Mukuro if he just met you not that long ago? That's... I've also heard of Fenrir, continued Byaku Shmaku. As I recall, its members have a tattoo somewhere on their body. Meh. Instinctively, Byaku Shmaku's words put Mukuro into a calm state of mind. In hostile situations, her defensive reflexes as the ultimate soldier often manifested themselves. Mukuro's tattoo was on the back of her right hand. She wondered how she could hide this from the other students without also calling attention to it. But in the end, this concern was in vain. If the police's records are true, she should have a tattoo on the back of her right hand. As Monokuma freely divulged that information. "Alright," cried Taka, his voice filled with enthusiasm. "Show us the back of your right hand and prove your innocence." Innocence? Why the hell did I say innocence? Monokuma dispensed another unnecessary remark. "Make sure you look real close, she might have covered it up with foundation." Junko had ordered Mukuro to hide her tattoo with foundation, so Monokuma's information was entirely true. There was nothing Mukuro could do except stay quiet. However, she wasn't staying quiet because her true identity was about to be exposed. She was struck by the realization that her sister was completely serious about pinning this on her. Ugh. Frickin' snot. Why the hesitation? Shouted the foolishly honest... Wait. Why the hesitation? Shouted the foolishly honest Taka. As my classmate, I have complete faith in you. From behind him, Hifumi Yamada, the ultimate fanfic creator, murmured to himself as cold sweat ran down his cheeks. Well, look at that. I guess this is what they call a checkmate, huh? Good thing I have snot in my nose, I can actually do that. Why don't you just fess up already, you fucking bastard? In contrast to Hifumi, Mondo Awada, the ultimate biker gang leader, was royally pissed. However, there were some students who were busy questioning Monokuma instead of Mukuro. Hey, you're not coming to save us? shouted Leon Kuwata, the ultimate baseball star. You should hurry up and charge in here already. Monokuma looked at Leon and shook his head softly. The police can't help you right now. Not only are you guys hostages, it's possible the entire school has been rigged with explosives and poisonous gas. I hacked into this Monokuma robot to investigate that for myself. Then what about everyone on that DVD? What about everyone outside the school? Asked Sayaka. The memory of the DVD she forced to watch yesterday still weighed heavily on her mind, but Monokuma didn't have a clear answer. I don't know anything about that DVD, but there's definitely terrorists causing havoc out here. Law enforcement around the world are in shambles trying to deal with this. That's impossible. Sayaka shuddered as she collapsed to her knees. Sayaka! Next to her, Chihiro Fujisaki, the ultimate programmer, was unsure about what she should do. Behind her, two other girls stood silently. The first was Tako Fukara, the ultimate writing prodigy. She seemed to be trying now I'm just burping and sneezing. I'm making all kinds of gross noises. Ugh, my god. I'm fine. She seemed to be trying very hard not to look at Makoto as he lay bleeding. The other quiet girl who hadn't talked much was named Kyoko Kirigiri. Unlike Tako, Kyoko was watching everything intently, as if she was studying the scene of the crime. From Makoto's breathing patterns to subtle changes in Mukuro's facial expression, nothing was escaping her attention. Suddenly, Tako began nervously talking to Sakura. So anyway, let's just say Mukuro woman or whoever over there is a terrorist. Hurry up and beat her to death or something. We don't want to do that yet, said Sakura. My fists do not met our justice out in simple speculation. Sakura tried to get near Makoto to examine his wounds, but Monokuma stood in his way, shouting, "Don't come any closer!" This meant Mukuro was the only one who could get close to Makoto. She had ended countless lives on the battlefield, she knew from experience. If she didn't treat Makoto's wounds, he would die. His wounds were not immediately fatal, but if he continued losing blood, he would eventually slip into shock and die shortly thereafter. Please, you need to treat Makoto first. Absolutely not, said Byaku Shimaku, harshly interrupting Mukuro. Tying you up and examining the back of your hand, or right hand, is our first priority. Hey, Makoto's in danger. Now's not the time for that, said Aoi Asahina, as she cast a worried glance at Makoto. She was still having trouble understanding the situation, and hadn't decided if Makoto was suspicious or not. But Yaku was about to snap back at her, but Mukuro's action stunned him into silence. She took a deep breath, and then Mukuro removed the blonde wig from her head. Where there are two long blonde pigtails only a moment before, there was now short black hair. She cleared her face of all emotion, and when she spoke, her voice rang through the gym. I'm not Junko Enoshima. My name is Mukuro Ikusaba. The students stared wide-eyed at her in open confession. All she did was remove her wig and clear her emotions, but in doing so, the person the students had recognized as Junko Enoshima vanished from her sight. The terrorist that had taken her place continued to speak with a calm, stoic tone. I helped lock everyone inside this academy. The confession on Seaside Cliff moment has finally arrived. The confession on Seaside Cliff moment has finally arrived, Hifumi blurted out. Wah 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 wah! Wigs against the school, or against school regulations, Junko, I mean Mukuro, shouted Taka. As if stirred by the cries of excitement, the other students began clamoring amongst themselves. Huh? Said Yasuhiro. So Makoto's wounds are, real? Does that mean that stuff about the terrorists and whatever is real too? So everything that's happened these past few days was a bunch of staged events? As the reality of the situation began dawning on Yasuhiro, all Leon could say to him was, "Shut the hell up!" But Yaku remained calm and addressed Mukuro in a condescending manner. What does your group want? If you're after money, we've already tried to negotiate. You would have already tried to negotiate with me. Of course, I'd rather let them die than surrender to your ransom demands. Ugh, our purpose is to fill the world with despair. But Yaku scoffed at that notion and began to speak once again. Humph. I see. Monokuma said something similar. So that ideology is what fuels your terrorism? If that's true, if you did something to me, you would certainly fill the world with despair. But obviously that would be impossible for you. Aoi couldn't believe what Byaku Shimaku was saying and frowned as she muttered, How self-centered can you be? After confirming that Byaku had no more questions for her, Mukuro looked at Makoto, whose breathing had slowed, and let her voice show some more emotion. But Makoto has nothing to do with this. You can't believe what Monokuma says. What did you say, bitch? Shouted Mondo. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. You're a terrorist just like Monokuma said. Mukuro looked away from Mondo and continued speaking. That's true, but Makoto wasn't involved in this at all. Celeste coldly brushed the objection aside. I do not think you are trying to protect him. Would do you any good? After all, we just heard Makoto call you by your real name. That's... She had no words. There was nothing he could say to protect Makoto, even though Makoto was truly innocent. Though Mukuro was the ultimate soldier, her powers were largely limited to battle. Even a normal high school student like her could outwit when it comes to debate and negotiation. If she were the ultimate negotiator, she might be able to convince her from that and their memories had really been erased. But in her current situation, she was trying to bring up their memory loss. That would have been a desperate excuse. Even Mukuro knew that. Even if she didn't know that, she would still knew what to do. Right now, we need to talk to Makoto first. Can I save? Can I save? Okay. Insert bookmark. There you go. Cool, guys. So, I am going to return to the novel screen. If you didn't insert a bookmark, you will lose all progress. Is that okay? Yes. So, I put a bookmark there. So, guys, if you want me to actually read all of this, let me know. Because I just spent 45 minutes reading a book. So, let's save over epilogue end. Cool. So guys, I will read the book later, but we'll do Magical Miracle Girl in the next bonus episode. We're going to play an RPG for about 20 minutes. We'll make it 20 minutes. And then we'll start Island Mode, which I really want to do. And if you guys want me to do more parts of the novel, if you guys really want to know all of Mukuro's backstory and cool shit about Junko, let me know in the comments. Because I won't continue reading it. I'll just read it by myself if it doesn't get good response. So we're going to do Magical Miracle Girl next on the next bonus episode of Danganronpa 2. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next book.